your stuff is it's very like segmented, right? So how do you record that in the studio?
Okay. How would I answer that? I mean, when we were writing this record, we almost were writing and recording it on the fly, like
Right.
simultaneously. You know what I mean?
So
So we
you'd
would
write
come up with
something?
we come up with a concept or an idea and just pretty much write it in.
Right.
Because we had the freedom of MIDI, we could basically edit our takes as much as we possibly can because we were just manipulating MIDI data. So this record, the concept of it, and we advertise it blatantly. It is a MIDI record in the sense of just like we really wanted to I don't know, just kind of let out all of our crazy ideas through the power of just using like MIDI as our outlet.
Yeah.
So we used we used Logic Pro X, and we just went in. We just went utterly
You use computers.
insane. Yeah. Well, I mean, like we played all the stuff live. That's the thing. But
Right.
we had the ability to edit everything, like edit like note for note type stuff. So we were able to compositionally just go way too crazy.
So it wasn't orthodox like
No.
method of
No,
recording.
it wasn't. Because it was recording and writing simultaneously.
Yeah.
But now we have a new record coming out probably within the next, I'd say, like 4 or 5 months. And this new record that we're working on is, it's taking a whole new route. It's because it's done a lot. We're doing live instruments. It still has the essence. It has the zany like fusion feeling to it, and it has that progressive rock influence, and it has a little bit more metal influence in this new record because we're using guitars and.
Are there still a lot of odd meters and all that?
Yeah, lots
stuff?
of odd meters. It's still I guess essentially like musically the same, from the same headspace, from the same like concept.
Where does your fascination with odd meters derive from?
Probably just listening to a lot of progressive rock as a kid,
Yeah.
or like as a teenager, and just getting into metal because metal has always been one of those genres that just pushes the envelope of technicality in music and what's possible.
Is
So I
that what
thought
you
that
were
was-
referring to when you said in your bio that metal and jazz were
Exactly.
not that different?
They're not that different in that way, because they both really expand on just like methods of writing like I don't know how to put it, but they expand on like the already like the edifice that is already there. So like jazz expands on the harmonic capabilities of like standard music,
Right.
and metal takes what you can do rhythmically to a whole nother realm,
And I'm sure the two playing metal has influenced your jazz playing.
Oh,
as
absolutely. Yeah. They both just kind of commingle, and that's where Gridlock is. That's where it comes from. That's like the headspace of it. It's metal and jazz.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's somewhere meeting harmonically in,
Yeah.
in the middle. Like I mean, because I have such a taste for rich harmonic sounds. Like I really like thick chords, lush chords.
Right.
And so I feel like incorporating that into metal is really cool because then you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting harmonic, just like beauty, and then you're getting crazy rhythmic stuff.
What are some chords that really appeal to you?
I mean, everybody loves the sharp 11. You can't not love the sharp 11.
Right.
I mean, that's one voicing I can do on bass that it is, beautiful. Or you can do something like, I'm trying to think here. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I really enjoy like extended major kind of sounds.
I really like the tone that you get out of that bass.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean,
it really sings.
yeah, it's
It's
great.
worth the every penny of the $4,000.
Absolutely, dude.
Okay, so prepping some like questions to ask you,
Sure.
and I went on like your Instagram and stuff like that.
Right,
So
right,
how do you
right.
decide what you're gonna post?
Yeah, that's a hard one, man. I usually have to retake like 30 times before I
Yeah.
finally get the right one, because I'm very like picky and perfectionistic about
Yeah.
that. But I mean, I usually just want to do something that like everybody can dig. That's at least what I'm thinking about now.
Because I noticed you play a lot of 4/4 stuff. So you
Mhm.
do a lot of groovy
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
because people really like that, and I really like it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just
People are gonna stay until the end of the video. And
Yeah.
they're just gonna scroll through.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to get some traction on Instagram.
Right.
I just want to use it as a tool of just building a career. Like.
And sharing your music.
Yeah, because I think it is it is a huge tool, and it's kind of the future in a way of like of how
Sharing music.
Yeah, of how
Yeah.
people find bands.
Especially in this ADD society,
Oh, dude,
right?
absolutely.
Where everybody like if they don't like it in the first 20 seconds, they're out,
Exactly.
right?
That's true, right? And so you can truncate the best moments in like whatever Instagram gives you, a minute. So you can get the best in that little minute, and people get, it strings people along like, oh, I want to see more. And
I've never been a fan of that though because I feel like when I post stuff, like if I were to post piano playing, I wouldn't
Right.
want to post just like 1 minute.
No, I
of-
know what you
of
mean, man.
Riffing, right?
Yeah.
I'd want somebody to sit down and listen, at least watch the entire video. Do you
Right.
feel like that's stripped it down a little bit?
Yeah, in a way. You have to make that sacrifice. Like you just have to be willing to just share the best of like whatever it is. And some people would argue that's like inauthentic, but
But would you rather do that than like record a 4-minute video of like?
no,
a
I'd
cover?
rather do a 4-minute video, but the thing is too, that takes longer, right? Like
Yeah.
it takes longer for people to be happy with a 4-minute thing than a 1-minute thing.
That's
You're
true.
gonna have to do
Then
way
you
more takes, and
exactly.
so it's easier now to just be like, oh, just do a minute of a groove or whatever it is.
So what's some of the stuff that you've played on Instagram? You play it here?
Well, I had
Or-
this little groove the other day I
Sure.
posted. It was it's like
You know what you don't get from piano that you do get through other than pedals and all that wacky stuff is you get muting,
true. Yeah,
which is like an entire different world.
that's all the Jocko stuff too,
Yeah.
eh? Like that's like that school. You can just stick on one note too a lot more than on piano, where it's really hard to really articulate something on one note for a long period of time. Like
Right.
da 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 da. That's really hard on piano.
What do you find are the biggest differences between playing from transitioning from classical piano to playing with the stuff that you play now on bass?
Okay. Piano is my vehicle now for experimenting with harmony.
Right.
Like, and it always will be, because it's just the layout, the nature of the instrument itself. It's just it lends itself to harmonic playing. Like,
Piano
that's
is it's a chessboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
stole that from someone.
Dude, everything we say is stolen from someone.
All right.
That's the way it
But
is.
what's the difference between what how was it transitioning from piano to bass?
I don't know. I mean,
Because bass, I find, or guitar, I started playing guitar, like a little bit guitar, and I
Mhm.
find that it's harder to visualize
it is.
stuff. Like you can't really see everything. Piano,
Totally
you can
agree.
see everything, but you don't. With guitar, you don't get as much of the muscle memory, I think,
Yeah.
because a lot of time, especially when you're like tuning strings or down tuning,
Mhm.
you can't you have to figure out things on the fly, especially if you're not very comfortable with the instrument, like I'm not.
Right. I think it does. Like the more I've played bass, obviously, the more it has become equally as a muscle memory game as it is on piano for
Right.
me.
Sure.
So they're similar in that way because that's just how it is. Like that's what our natural inclination. We go back to those muscle like those inclinations that we we all have those licks that we play, and I think that's because it comes from it's a muscle learned.
What are some of those licks that you always play so that everybody will know?
Damn it, dude! This is just exposing me. That kind of stuff. That's all muscle
That's so
memory.
cheesy.
That stuff. It's cheesy, but the people love it. I mean, no, like there's like plenty of different ones. Like, there's a variety of them.
Yeah.
And
So how do
all
you get
depending
away?
on genres?
How do you get away from that?
That's the ultimate question. I think it's just playing something for long enough that you get bored of playing the same stuff all the time.
I find that when I used to play the same licks all the time, it would because I'd be playing at the same tempo.
Yeah.
So when I
that's a big one,
slowed
too.
it down,
Yeah.
then I'd be able to play slower.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like taking say you're just playing the blues if you're playing the blues for an hour, say, you're going to start playing shit that you never played before. Sorry, can I swear on this?
No. It's all right.
Bleep. You can't.
One morning.
Yeah. You never told me that before, man.
Sorry.
But like you just start playing stuff you never would play, like because you've already done it a million times. Like
Right.
in the first 15 minutes of playing, you're like, okay, let's try some new stuff, and you'll go for stuff you never played. So
Yeah.
that's one way of breaking out of that, and then you'll find new stuff. So it's just incorporating it into your vocabulary, your muscle vocabulary, and also your like what you hear, your like internal vocabulary as well.
All right. You want to play one more for us?
Sure. I mean, I can just like
You want to just riff?
give you some stuff. Yeah,
Give me some Instagram clips.
yeah, exactly. It's a little envelope filter action. I love to play with delay too. I mean, like doing some swells and stuff like that. Like, maybe I should have been a guitar player.
You get those whale sounds going on.
Exactly. That's a whale. That's a whale in heat. I love reverb too. I like to. I don't know. It gives the sustain a little bit more. It gives it more sustain, so it feels like you're playing something more melodic. You know, and
Right.
you get that reflection. Yeah, it's cool. Like I like to use effects like that are considered guitar effects. Like that like most
Sustain,
Yeah.
reverb, delay.
stuff like that. But it makes it more melodically like tasty.
So when you get to a certain level as a musician, like you are, how do you improve? How do you continue to push yourself?
Well, there's like a million things you can improve on.
What are some of the things that you are consciously aware of?
I would say probably developing just more vocabulary.
Right.
Like having more like hearing more things and just being able to implement like like me. Obviously the ultimate goal is just pure freedom and like
to be able to technically be able to play whatever you want.
Yeah, to execute anything. So I would say for me, yeah, like I mean, I would love to get a little more of a technical facility on the instrument. I have a pretty good foundation, but I do find myself sometimes not being able to go to the extremes that I want, and like to reach those kind of, not even like top speeds, but just like in a moment being able to go for something crazy.
Do you ever feel as though your growth is like temporarily stunted?
Yes, I feel like I have plateaued a little bit, but but there'll be something that'll inspire me, and then I'll go, I'll find something new. So I guess it's just being able to be open minded, and I think, I don't know, because for me, regimented practice has never really worked for me. Like it had to happen to up to a certain point, but then after you, or like I just feel like it needed to be about playing, not about practicing.
Yeah.
So I find myself now just playing a lot.
Do you find that this to carry over to like how your studies academically? Like,
in what way?
Because the way you think is not standardized.
Right.
Like, do you feel like when you were in a box, they put you in a box when you went to school? Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. School to me, like, it has never been a useful way of learning. It hasn't been an effective way for me to learn.
What's ineffective about it?
Probably just the like curricular, the way they go about curriculum is not, it's not aligned with how I learn, and like just the way like deadlines work and things like that. I feel like I've always just been an independent learner. Like that's just who I am,
Yeah.
And there's a million other reasons why like school as an institution, is a bit like, has its flaws in the sense of like the agendas that they push and whatnot, like politically and whatnot. So I mean, like that's not much of a problem within the Humber program, but
Because it's such a different program.
yeah, because it's a little bit more cloistered, and it's kind of in its own bubble. So
Did you gravitate towards music as a means of distancing yourself from the institution?
maybe not consciously.
No.
I mean, I wanted to do music, but it wasn't like a, like against the man, It wasn't like,
Rage Against the Machine.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't consciously like that on that level.
When did you decide to become a professional musician?
Well, I decided to become a professional musician not like maybe 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like I've been at school for music to be a musician
Okay.
for a long time, but to be a professional musician, I only recently realized that what I need to do to become that, and that means be on top of my stuff. Like I have to be like organized. I have to be, like I just have to put everything into it, because I feel like for a long time I was a little more casual about it. I was
Right.
at school. I was just, I was just like playing with people and just kind of getting a feel for what it's like to just learn music and to play with people. And now it's like, okay, this, like, as I, approach the end of Humber, it's like, oh, it's a big bad world out there. I need to make a living somehow. Like,
Are you scared?
Do no, I'm not scared. I'm interested as to see where it will go, like what will happen, because it's a mixture of luck and preparedness. Just like you never know where you're gonna end up. So
That's right.
but I definitely feel like I have now a more of an idea of like what I want to do, and like and then that's just to be a guy who people can call to play for them, and also to be my own artist as well. That's I think above all, to be my own artist.
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now as a musician?
I see myself really going for Gridlock, and whatever permutation it is in that amount of time, whatever happens to it. But Gridlock is the manifestation of what I like, having like a musical outlet, an artistic outlet of my own, and in collaboration with Jacob as well. So like within that form, it's the idea of going for something artistically and like seeing if I hope that it catches on and people really enjoy it, and like we develop a fan base, whether it's humble or not, like whether it's like 2,000 people or like 100,000 people, or, just like having that growth, seeing like this like thing that you are creating, and something that you're putting your whole like
all your effort
being into, yeah, and seeing how it like turns out.
Yeah, it must be completely liberating.
Yeah,
to have this one musical outlet.
Yeah, it's beautiful
to express everything.
But there's also paying the bills. So, like, it's like, will that suffice? Probably not. So, and it's not even like it would be a chore to play with other people, because I love playing with other people. That's not even like the thing, Because that's the other element. I see myself in 10 years playing with lots of different artists, and it's such a treat to play other people's music too. Like, so that's another thing.
So are you content right now with who you are as a person and who you are as a musician?
Yeah, for the most part, like there's always room to grow though. I've got lots of things I need to work on as a person, like musically, everything. It's like it's just who knows anything at 21?
Nobody knows. Nobody
knows. Like we're just like products of culture at this point. We haven't lived through anything yet.
I like that.
We're
products of culture.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up, and we're gonna play something from Daryl Reeves.
Oh.
When did you first hear the Dillaquarium mixtape?
Oh man, this is a couple years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. I really, really love the like neo soul stuff, and it just rhythmically like just feel the groove, the pocket is just perfect, and that combined with great harmony too. It's just like it's all the things I love about music aligned.
Right.
And it has an aesthetic, and it's just great. Like this, I love Dilla because Dilla kind of innovated almost like a pocket, a certain kind of groove, and it comes from like a chopping up, like sample type of way of looking at grooves. Like he constructed grooves out of just chopping up like different samples, and like it has a vibe, it has like a feeling, and you can emulate it in like with real instruments too. So this is kind of and this is them recreating Dilla. So yeah, go ahead, play
Well,
it.
thanks for coming in, Sean.
I'll shut up now. Yeah, man.